Hello guys and welcome. Today we'll be talking about components events. Native HTML elements has a number of events that we can attach handler to, something like on click, on blur, and so on and so forth. When we attach a listener to each of these events, the events data can be passed to the handler of these events, which we can use the data for further processing. Now, apart from the event inherited from native elements, so how do we create our own custom elements? So that is what today's tutorial is all about. Now, secondly, Angular uses events as a way to send out data from child component to a parent component. So because of that, Angular uses output for events. So output is the same thing as events. Now, how do we create this in Angular? So based on the version of Angular we are currently using, which is Angular 18, so there is output method that we can quickly use to generate events. That is the first one we are going to be checking out. Then the second way to create events in Angular is through the output decorator. Without wasting much time, let's get down to coding. So if you have been following this tutorial from the beginning, you should have a component known as product card components. So this component was used previously to demo how to accept inputs into a component. So that component is the same thing I'm going to be using to demo events. So the first thing is to create a property. So let's call it sold, for example. Of course, you can use any name, then equals to output. So the output should be imported from Angular core. And just like this, event has been created. So we have a property that we can use to dispatch an event. So very quickly, let's fire an event. So let's create, I'm just keeping it, let's create a fire method that we can use to fire the events. Not necessarily, you can fire directly from this property, but I want to separate the concern. So sold dot emit. So what this method returns is event emitter reference, and from the event emitter we can actually emit, or in other words generate an event. Of course, we can pass in data, so the events we are generating, we'll get back to that. So now what should happen, just for demo purposes, so let's trigger this fire method. That when something happens, then this fire method should be called. So let's head over to our templates. So we attach a native event here. Whenever user clicks on our card, then we are firing our own custom event. So that is that about this part. We will customize further. Then secondly, this component is used in this place. Now let's listen to the event. How do we do that? Just like we listen to all other events in Angular. So event is listening, can be listening to through the brackets. Then the name of the event, we have sold. Then the handler, let's say undo. Then the data from that event. So the data from the event can be gotten via Angular property known as event $events. So this contains all the information about the event. It can be data, it can be anything. Now let's create this our undo, or let's call it handler. Our handler function or method. handler, then the data. And just log the data. Let's log the data. So again, we have a property that we can use to generate events. We generate the events, fire the events, and over here the event is being listened to, and over here we undo the events. Now let's check the flow on our UI and let's see if something will happen. Let's play sort. Let's call it sort. Oh, let's run the BPM starts. Okay, I'm opening the, so I'm clicking on this card. Then we have the event sold and data is undefined, of course, because let's check what is happening. Over here the event is fired, but there is no data passed to the events. Why? Because, okay, let's try and pass data here. So let's say name product is how to code in Angular. So we have an error reading that the type is void. So when we create the property here, we need to specify the type of data that can be used with the property. So we can just say, just for quick solution, we have any. So this should work fine now. Let's go back again. Let's click again and let's click. And as you can see, sold, then we have the value passed from that event. So here the child component is passing data to the parent component. So it can be as simple as this, as we have it here, and it can be as complex as you can imagine. So let's do a bit of customization. We can apply alias here. Can you see product sold. Then this can be used instead to listen to the event. So that is the first method. The second method, very straightforward, almost the same thing, but in this case we use decorator as output. Also should be imported from Angular core. Then let's say v preview, that's the name, and is equal to event emitter from Angular core also. So with this, just like we did here, we can fire the events. So preview, just emit. Let's check again. Let's refresh and let's check. Okay, nothing's happening. Let's check here. Oh, over here we're listening to source. So let's preview. Let's check that out again. Let's refresh. And voila, we have this. So these are the two ways to create events in Angular. So the output method and also the output decorator. That's all in this tutorial, and I will see you next time.